Good morning, students. Now we are going to see the next Mughal emperor Jahangir, who ruled the Mughal emperor from AD 1605 to 1627. Akbar was succeeded by his Prince Salim, his son, through a Rajput wife, who was also named as Nuruddin Muhammad Jahangir. Nuruddin Muhammad Jahangir. The meaning is nothing but conqueror of the world. Jahangir was more interested in art and painting, garden and flowers than in running the government. So Jahangir's wife Mehernisha, known as Noor Jahan, was a real power behind the throne. Jahangir carried to some extent his father's tradition. The toleration of religions of Akbar time continued in Jahangir's period also. So the Mughal Emperor Jahangir carried his father's tradition to some extent. But Jahangir ordered the execution of Sikh leader Guru Arjan for helping his rebellious son Khusrau. Jahangir ordered the execution of Sikh leader Guru Arjan for helping his rebellious son Khusrau, who contested for the throne. This resulted in a prolonged fight between the Sikh and Mughal. So this as a result caused fight between the Sikh and Mughal. As a result of this, the Mughal had to lose control over the trade routes. As a result of the fight between the Mughals and the Sikhs, they were able to lose their trade control over Afghanistan, Persia and Central Asia. Jahangir granted trading rights to the Portuguese and later to the English. So he was a Mughal emperor who granted trading rights to Portuguese and to the English. Thomas Roe, a representative of King James I of England, visited Jahangir's court, and this agreement paved the way for the British establishing their first factory in Surat. So, the Mughal Emperor Jahangir was the first person to establish a trade with the English and the Portuguese, and Thomas Roe, the representative of King James I of England, made an agreement with the Jahangir, and this paved the way for establishing the British factory first in Surat. Next, we are going to see the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan, who ruled the Mughal period from AD 1627 to 1658. Prince Khurram, after a struggle for power, succeeded Jahangir, known as Shah Jahan, the meaning nothing but conqueror of king of the world. So, Shah Jahan meaning king of the world. Shah Jahan ruled for 13 years. He led a campaign against Ahmednagar in the year 1632. Later, he captured the Bijapur and Golconda also. Some Maratha warriors, notably known as Shaji Bhonsle, Shivaji's father, entered the service of the Deccan kingdom and trained the bands of Maratha soldiers to fight against the Mughal. Shah Jahan was intolerant towards other religions than Islam. This came to the climax of the Mughal splendor. Shah Jahan fell ill in the year 1657. So he fell ill in 1657 and a war of succession broke out among his four sons. So among his four sons there was a war between them. Aurangzeb emerged successful after killing his three brothers. So Aurangzeb killed his three brothers and he emerged as a successful king. His three brothers are Dara, Shuja and Murad. Shah Jahan passed the last 8 years of his life as a prisoner in the Shah Burj of the Agra fort. So he passed his last 8 years in the prisoners in the Shah Burj of the prison named Shah Burj of the Agra fort. Next, we are going to see about the famous king Aurangzeb, who ruled the Mughal emperor between AD 1658 to 1707. Aurangzeb was the last of the great Mughal emperor. So he was the last and the great Mughal emperor to rule the Mughal dynasty. He assumed the title Alamgir. The meaning nothing but the conqueror of the world. He reigned for 48 years. He was no lover of art like his grandfather Jahangir and architecture like his father Shah Jahan. So he was not, it does not like about the art and architecture like of his grandfather Jahangir and architecture like his father Shah Jahan. He tolerated no religion expecting Islam. He tolerated no religion expecting Islam. He reimposed the jizya tax on Hindus and excluded them from office as far as possible. Akbar cancelled the jizya tax against the Muslim, whereas Aurangzeb reimposed the tax on Hindus and excluded them from office as far as possible. Between 1658 and 1681, Aurangzeb remained in the north and suppressed the revolt of Bandilas, Jats, Satnamis and Sikhs. The kingdom came under repeated attack of the Mughals, but it could not be subdued totally. So the last Mughal emperor of this dynasty was Aurangzeb. He did not take interest in the art like his grandfather Jahangir and architecture like his father Shah Jahan. He tolerated no religious expecting Islam. He reimposed the jizya tax on Hindus and excluded them from the office as far as possible. The kingdom came under repeated attacks of the Mughals, but it could not be subdued totally. So the kingdom, namely Aurangzeb, remained in the north and suppressed the revolt of Bandalas, Jats, Satnamis and Sikhs. Aurangzeb's expansion in the northeast resulted in a war with the homes of Kamarupa, Assam. So he extended his kingdom from the Kabul towards the south. Next we are going to see how Mughal maintained relationship with Rajput and Maratha. Aurangzeb maintained a good hostility towards Rajputs that led to prolonged war with them. To make matter more worse, his rebellious son Prince Akbar joined the force of Rajput and created troubles to him. So this situation made Aurangzeb to march to the Deccan in the 1689. In the Deccan, Aurangzeb brought Bijapur and Golconda into submission. Shivaji himself declared as the emperor of the Maratha state in the year 1674. Aurangzeb remained in the Deccan until his death in 1707 at the age of nearly 90. By the end of Aurangzeb's rule, the British had firmly established their trade centers at Madras, Calcutta and Bombay. The French had their main trade center in Pondicherry. Next we are going to see the Mughal administration into various parts. First, the Mughal administration can be divided into central administration, provincial administration, local administration, army. So, central administration. The Mughal provide a stable administration in large parts of India. The emperor was the supreme head of the administrative system. The emperor was the lawmaker, the chief executive, the commander-in-chief of the army and the final dispenser of justice. The emperor was assisted by a council of ministers. The most important officials were the Vakil, Prime Minister and Wazir or Diwan in charge of the revenue and expenditure. Mir Bakshi was in charge of the army. So Prime Minister was also called as Vakil, Wazir or Diwan in charge of revenue or expenditure. Mir Bashki was in charge of the army. The Mir Saman looked after the royal household. The Qazi was the chief judge. So Mir Saman looked after the royal household. Qazi was the chief judge. Sadr us Sudr was minister for enforcing Islamic law. Sadr us Sudr was minister for enforcing Islamic law called as Sharia. So these were the central administration of the Mughal emperor. Next we are going to see provincial administration. Provincial administration. The empire was divided into several subas, provinces. Each Suba was under the control of an officer called Subedar. So it was under the control of the officer called Subedar. The Subas were further divided into districts called Sarkars. So the Subas were further divided into districts called Sarkar. The Sarkars were subdivided into Parganas. A group of village gramas formed a pargana. A group of village gramam formed a pargana. This was the provincial administration of the Mughal emperor. Local administration. The town and cities were administered by kotwals. So, town and cities were administered by kotwal. Kotwal maintained law and order. The administration of village was left in hands of local village panchayat. The panchayat dispensed justice. So the justice was in the hands of the local village panchayat. Informal institutions of justice in village. The panchayat dispensed justice. Next we are going to see about the army of the Mughal emperor. The Mughal army comprised infantry, cavalry, war elephants and artillery. The emperor maintained a large number of trained and well-armed bodyguards and palace guards. So they had infantry, cavalry, war elephants. They maintained a large number of trained and well-armed bodyguards and palace. Next we are going to see about Mansabdari system. Akbar introduced the Mansabdari system. So according to this system, noble, civil and military officials were combined to form single service. So nobles, civil, military officials combined to form one single service. Everyone in the service was given a mansab. Mansab means a position or a rank. A mansabdar was a holder of such a rank. Mansabdar rank was, so the rank was dependent on Zat and Savar. So it was dependent upon the Zat and Savar. The former indicated one status. Savar was the number of horses and horsemen he had to maintain. So Savar was the number of horses and horsemen he had to maintain. His salary was fixed on the basis of the number of soldiers each Mansabdar received, ranging from 10 to 10,000. So the salary is of the Mansabdar is based upon the Savar, the number of horses he is having, and his salary was fixed on the basis of number of soldiers each Mansabdar received, ranging from 10 to 10,000. The Mansabdars were paid high salary by the emperor. The rank of Mansabdar was not hereditary during Akbar's time. After him, it became hereditary. Next, we are going to see about land revenue administration. Land revenue administration was stoned during the reign of Akbar. So, during the period of Akbar, land revenue administration was stoned. Raja Todar Mal, revenue minister of Akbar, adopted and refined the system introduced by Sir Shah. So, he adopted the system introduced by Sir Shah. Todar Mal Sabd system was put in place in the north and northwest provinces. So, according to this system, land revenue administration, the lands were classified based on the fertility of the soil. So, the lands were classified based on the fertility of the soil. The Mughal emperor enforced the old Ikta system, remaining it Jahir. The Mughal emperor enforced the old Ikta system, renaming it Jahir. It is a land tenure system developed during the period of Delhi Sultanate. So, the Jahir is a land revenue system that was tenure system developed during the period of Delhi Sultanate. Under that system, the collection of the revenue of an area and the power of governing it were bestowed upon a military or civil official now named Jagirdar. Jagirdar. The Jagirdar collected the revenue through his own official. So the Mughal also enforced the old Iqta system into renaming it as Jagir, in that it is a land tenure system that was developed during the period of Delhi Sultanate. So under that system, the collection of the revenue of an area and the power of governing was given it to as Jagirdar. Every Mansabdar was a Jagirdar. So the Jagirdar collected the revenue through his own officials. So the Mansabdars collected the own revenue through his own officials. So the Mansabdars were called as Jagirdar at that time. We are going to see religious policies of the Mughal emperor. The Mughal emperor were the follower of Islam. Akbar was very liberal in his religious policy. In Akbar court, the Portuguese missionaries were great favorite. Akbar wanted to include the good principle of all religion into one single faith called Din Ilahi. So he wanted to include the good principles of all religion into one single faith called Din Ilahi, meaning divine faith. Jahangir and Shah Jahan also followed the policy of Akbar, but Aurangzeb did not follow the views of his predecessor. He reimposed the jizya and pilgrim tax on the Hindus. His intolerance toward other religion made him unpopular among the people. We are going to see the art and architecture of the Mughal emperor. Babur introduced the Persian style of architecture to India. He built many structures at Agra, Biana, Dholpur, Gwalior, but only few of them exist today. Humayun Palace in Delhi, Din Pana, was probably destroyed by Sher Shah Sir, who built the Purana Qaila in its palace. So the famous Humayun Palace, Din Pana, was destroyed by Sher Shah Sir. The most prominent monument of Sher Shah reign was his mausoleum built at Sasaram in Bihar. So the famous was his mausoleum built at Sasaram in Bihar. The Diwan-i-Khas, Diwan-i-Am, Panch Mahal, Rang Mahal, Salim Chishti's tomb and Buland Darwaza were built during Akbar's time. Jahangir completed Akbar tomb at Sikandar and the beautiful building containing the tomb of Ihmad-ud-Daula, father of Nurjahan at Agra. So they were famous buildings built during the Mughal emperor were Rang Mahal, Salim Chishti tomb, Buland Darwaza were built during the Akbar time. Jahangir completed Akbar tomb at Sikandar. So Jahangir built a Akbar tomb at Sikandar and the beautiful building containing the tomb of Ihmad-ud-Daula. So the tomb contains Ihmad-ud-Daula, father of Nurjahan at Agra. Shah Jahan time witnessed the climax of Mughal splendors. The famous peacock throne covered with expensive jewel. So the Shah Jahan time witnessed the climax of the Mughal splendor. The famous peacock throne covered with expensive jewels was made for the emperor to sit on it. Then rose the world famous Taj Mahal. He also built the world famous Taj Mahal in the sides of the Jamuna river at Agra. So in the Jamuna river at Agra, Taj Mahal is located on the sides of the Jamuna river at Agra. Beside Taj, he built the Moti Masjid, the Pearl Mosque at Agra, the great Jama Masjid of Delhi, and the Diwan-i-Khas and Diwan-i-Am in his palace in Delhi. So all these Moti Masjid, Jama Masjid, Diwan-i-Khas, Diwan-i-Am palace were built during the Shah Jahan period. During the Aurangzeb reign, architecture did not receive much patronage. The Bibi Ka Maqbara in Aurangabad, a mausoleum built by his son Prince Azam Shah, as a loving tribute to his mother in the late 17th century is however worth mentioning. So his Aurangzeb's son Bibika Makubara in Aurangabad, a mausoleum built by his son. So his son Aurangzeb's son Prince Azam Shah built a building in the tribute to his lovable mother in the late 17th century is worth mentioning for the Aurangzeb. So these were the administrations, land revenue systems, art and architecture followed during the period of the Mughal emperor. Thank you.